Welcome to today's explainer. Look, when you think of Antarctica, you probably just picture penguins and a whole lot of ice, right? Well, think again. Beneath miles of blinding white ice, researchers have uncovered things that leave even the most brilliant scientists scratching their heads. We're talking ancient timelines, literally impossible biology, and discoveries that honestly might not even be from this planet. Let's get right into it. Okay, so to truly wrap our heads around this, we first need to grasp the sheer scale of the place. This frozen wasteland stretches across a massive 15 million square kilometers. To put that into perspective for you, that is vastly larger than the entire United States. It's an absolute behemoth of a continent, and it holds mysteries totally proportionate to its gigantic size. And as you can imagine, it is wildly hostile to life. It's an extreme environment where temperatures can plunge down to a deadly minus 90 degrees centigrade. Imagine that. It's a place so incredibly isolated that it operates without any official time zones at all. Oh, and get this. Across this massive, sprawling landmass, there are literally only 2 ATM machines on the entire continent. Section 1. Antarctica, a unique world. Let's explore this deeply isolating, icy baseline. Because for decades, we just assumed Antarctica was nothing but a solid block of dead ice. But as we're about to see, that assumption couldn't be further from the truth. Despite the ice being a staggering 5 kilometers deep in some places, it's actually hiding a completely dynamic world underneath. Researchers have discovered over 400 hidden liquid lakes buried far beneath the frozen surface. Over 400! It completely shatters the idea that this continent is just solid ice all the way down. There is literally an entire concealed world flowing right beneath our feet. Section 2. Unheard Secrets of Ancient Times. Now, this extreme, punishing environment hasn't actually always been here. Digging deep into that ice has revealed a completely different version of Antarctica, bringing us to evidence of a surprisingly warm, incredibly vibrant ancient past. Tracing back through the timeline, check this out. In 2009, scientists were stunned to find the skeleton of an animal resembling a cat. But it wasn't your ordinary house cat, no way. It was a bizarre, egg-laying cat that roamed the Earth 25 million years ago. And the discoveries just kept getting bigger. Fossil evidence proves that 7 million years ago, towering 36-foot dinosaurs, including massive marine reptiles like mosasaurs and plesiosaurs, lived right there. The massive scale of these creatures, we're talking the height of a 3-story building, proves that Antarctica was once a totally warm, fully habitable landscape. So this incredible shift in climate, from a warm paradise to a frozen desert, naturally leads us to a pretty startling question. If massive dinosaurs and these odd mammals thrive there, could early human civilizations have done the exact same thing? Well, it's a question archaeologists faced head-on in 2014 when they made a seriously chilling discovery. They discovered human skulls, the very first ever found on the continent. But wait, these weren't ordinary skulls. They possessed an abnormally elongated shape. Now, scientists know this specific shaping comes from cultural habits formed from childhood. Habits exactly like those practiced by ancient civilizations in Egypt and Peru thousands of years ago. It's a jaw-dropping similarity, right? It heavily suggests early humans might have lived in Antarctica, perhaps sharing a direct cultural relationship with those ancient empires. Section 3. Alien world existent on Earth. Fast forward to modern geography, and what's happening on the surface today is just as strange as what's buried underneath. We're moving from ancient biology to bizarre landscapes that quite literally mimic alien worlds, right here on our own planet. Let me introduce you to one of the most unsettling sights in nature. Back in 1911, a scientist named Taylor discovered what literally looked like a gruesome river of deep red blood flowing straight out of the stark white ice of a glacier. For decades, it honestly looked like the continent itself was bleeding. Okay, so here's the crucial point. It's actually not blood at all, but an incredible, naturally occurring chemical reaction. Deep beneath the glacier is a hidden lake containing water that is 3 times saltier than the ocean, which totally stops it from freezing. Now, this water absorbs massive amounts of iron from the surrounding mountains. When this iron-rich, ultra-salty water finally pushes its way out of the ice and hits the outside air, the oxygen mixes with the iron, and bam, it instantly turns into bright red iron oxide. Basically, it's rust. But the crazy visual of blood falls isn't even the wildest part. This brilliantly illustrates survival against all odds because scientists found 17 unique types of bacteria living entirely in that dark subglacial water. They survive completely without oxygen and thrive without a single ray of sunlight. This highly isolated ecosystem perfectly mimics the kind of extreme biology we'd expect to find on completely alien planets. It is essentially extraterrestrial life, practicing right here on Earth. Speaking of extremes, if you think Antarctica is just one endless snowstorm, get a load of this number. There's a region called the Dry Valleys, and it is officially the driest place on Earth. This specific area has not seen a single drop of rain for an astounding 2 million years. 2 million! So how is that even possible on a continent literally made of frozen water? While any chance of moisture is completely eradicated by brutal, raging winds. And we aren't just talking about strong breezes here. These winds reach staggering, relentless speeds of up to 320 kilometers per hour. They are so aggressive that they instantly evaporate any trace of moisture, leaving the valley completely and utterly barren. The environment created by these brutal winds makes this valley so remarkably similar to Mars that it's practically a planetary twin. In fact, the conditions are so perfectly matched that NASA actually tested its Viking robot right here in the Dry Valleys before launching it millions of miles into space. Section 4, Space and Unsolved Terrifying Secrets. That Martian connection perfectly bridges us into our final segment. Let's look at a completely unexplained discovery that still haunts researchers today. Because of the pure, untouched white background of the ice, Antarctica is hands down the greatest place on Earth to find things that fall from the sky. Over the past 50 years alone, scientists have found more than 10,000 meteorites scattered across the isolated ice. These are literally fragments of other worlds just sitting right there on the surface, waiting to be found. Now, most of the time, it's pretty hard to trace exactly where a meteorite came from. But one incredibly specific meteorite, which fell to Antarctica in 2002 and was fully analyzed in 2015, changed all of that. By analyzing the unique material inside it, scientists proved this rock broke off directly from the planet Mars over 700,000 years ago, before eventually crashing into the Antarctic ice. But honestly, meteorites from Mars are absolutely nothing compared to the most baffling mystery of all. An archaeological team was drilling deep into the frozen continent when, at a staggering 1,100 feet below the ice, they unearthed an absolutely horrifying 8-foot-long skeleton. Now, you'd think modern science could identify it instantly, right? But despite endless scientific experiments and biological matching, they just couldn't. This massive, bizarre creature, characterized by strange bones unnaturally protruding from its body, simply does not match the skeletal structure of any known animal on Earth. After years of hard work, its origin remains a complete and total blank. Which leaves us with a final, chilling question as we wrap up this explainer. If this massive skeleton doesn't match any earthly animal, and it was found buried deep in a continent known for mimicking alien environments and catching rocks from Mars, where exactly did this terrifying monster come from? Keep that in mind the next time you look at a map of our supposedly fully explored world. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Stay curious and keep questioning what lies beneath the